Assalamualaikum, students. Let's start with our third session of week 2. This one is about manager role. Now, what are all these role? Like when we are talking about manager role, we have the manager's jobs, like what we can say interpersonal role, informational role, and another one is about third category is about decisional role. These are the three categories of the management role, our manager role. So first one is about figurehead role, another one is leader and liaison role. It's about interpersonal role. When we are talking about manager job, we have informational role, monitor, disseminator, and spokesperson. And when we are talking about the senior role, we have entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. Okay, let's start with what is interpersonal role. What it is, you can say, what's the first category? Okay, students, this one is about figurehead, leader, and liaison. That is the part of figurehead interpersonal role. Now, what is figurehead role? It's as a manager, you have social, ceremonial, or legal responsibility. You are expected to be a source of inspiration. A manager is an aspirational figure at the same time, and people look up to you as a person with authority and as a figurehead. So that means you have specific authority. You are looking after the complete organization. You are looking for the overall matters of the organization of every individual, and you have specific authority. You are just like a head of the family. It's like head of the organization. That is about figurehead role. Another one is about leader. So leader role is again just like a manager role. Leader leads the people not just on work related matters, but for everything, for from encouragement point of view, from teamwork point of view, from motivation, from overall what we can say, how we can encourage, how we can sort out the different problems and all that. That is about leader responsibility or leader role. So this is where you provide leadership for your team, your department, or perhaps your entire organization. So you are acting as a leader and you have the leadership quality, because there is a difference between leader and manager. Manager is just concerned for the task, for the output, but leader is the person who is not only concerned for the output, he is also concerned for the overall people of the organization. That means he also care about the different issues and different matters and how they have to motivate and communicate different things to the leader for their grooming and for the organization as well. So liaison role, what it is, manager must communicate with the internal and external context. That means how a person has to communicate with, it's a bridge, you can say entity. It's just like a bridge, what we can say, person जो act कर रहा है, it's a middleman or a middle person who is acting as to communicate with the internal and external context, to communicate with the top level management and middle level management and lower level. So middle manager, sometimes that can be act as a liaison or a middleman. So you need to be able to network effectively on behalf of your organization. So you have to make the complete network on the behalf of your organization. Next one is about informational category. When we are talking about informational category, the role in this category involve processing the information, right? Basically, it's about informational category. So what you have to do is, first one is about monitor, disseminator, and spokesperson. Manager analyze the data and get the accurate conclusion. That is about monitoring. Monitoring to check, to evaluate, the performance of the individual. In this role, you regularly seek out the information related to your organization and industry, looking for relevant changes in the environment. You also monitor your team in terms of both their productivity and their well-being. So that means being a monitor or being a person who is monitoring each and every activity, whatever you are doing in the organization, whatever has been done in the organization, you have to look after, or you have to monitor, or you have to evaluate each and everything, how people are working in the organization, what type of information people are giving to you, and you are giving the information. Everything has to be evaluated, everything you have to be monitored properly, right? So you also monitor your team in terms of both their productivity and their well-being. So that is about monitor role, right? So this one is about what we can say, how we can evaluate the performance of the individual. So this is what monitoring role, being a manager. Disseminator की जब हम बात करते हैं, this is where you communicate potentially useful information to your colleague and to your team. That means कोई भी ऐसी information जो आपके लिए accessible now easily. So through that person, you can get that information, or that person is acting as a communicator between you and another party. So that is about disseminator. Manager transmit and communicate data effectively. So आप जब अपना डेटा, कोई भी डेटा स्पेसिफिकली जो अनएक्सेसिबल इंफॉर्मेशन है, उसको जब आप किसी भी इंडिविजुअल को, यू कैन से विद इन द डिपार्टमेंट, आउटसाइड द डिपार्टमेंट, किसी भी इंडिविजुअल को कन्वे करते हैं, ट्रांसमिट करते हैं, so then you are acting as a disseminator who is, you can say, sharing the information or communicating the potential and what we can say very authentic or credible information to the through the useful sources to your colleague and to your team. So that is about disseminator. Spokesperson कौन होता है जी? So disseminator, just like जैसे मैंने क्लास में भी आपको बताया था, जैसे कोई डाटा है जो आपको इजीली एक्सेसिबल नहीं है, तो एक स्पेसिफिक पर्सन के थ्रू, जस्ट लाइक आपका इंफॉर्मेशनल मैनेजर है, उसके थ्रू आप वो डाटा गेट करते हैं और वो आपको वो डाटा प्रोवाइड करता है, तो एट दैट टाइम दैट पर्सन इज एक्टिंग एज अ डिसेमिनेटर. स्पोक्स पर्सन कौन होता है? अ पर्सन, अ मैनेजर रिप्रेजेंट एंड स्पीक फॉर देयर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. A manager know how to speak on behalf of the company. So a person who has to speak on the behalf of company, that is about spokesperson role, and he's responsible for transmitting the information about your organization and its goals to the people outside it. So you have to transmit the information and you have to speak on the behalf of the organization. तो वो आपका spokesperson है. So this one is the last category, that is about decisional category. And what are the different decisional role? Like we have entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. So these are the different types of role. Okay, now entrepreneur role, as a manager, you create and control change within the organization. This means solving the problem, generating the new ideas, and implementing them. So entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur, जो basic आपका काम है वो है, you have to take the creative initiative. Any person who has to, a manager, take the innovative and brave decisions, right? So this is one of the one-line statement or definition. A manager is going to take the innovative and brave decision. कोई भी ऐसा person or a manager जो innovation करता है, new ideas लेके आता है, unique ideas लेके आता है with very brave decision. This means solving the problem, generating the new ideas, and implementing them in a proper creative way. So that is about entrepreneur. Disturbance handler की जब हम बात करते हैं, when an organization or team hits an unexpected roadblocks, that means there are number of problems in the organization, different conflicts raise होते हैं, problems होती हैं, तो उन disputes को resolve करने के लिए जब आप as a person, as a manager, जब आप उनको resolve कराते हो, different problems को handle करते हो, तो at that time you are acting as a disturbance handler. Resource allocator कौन होते हैं? You will also need to determine where organizational resources are best applied. So any resource, wherever it is to be needed, like it's about human resource, or that can be mechanical resource or financial resource, whatever a person or staff or department, organization, branch required, you have to allocate them, you have to assign them. So that is about resource allocator, कि आपको जो जो resources जहाँ जहाँ चाहिए, ज़रूरत है, आप उनको provide करें. That is the responsibility of resource allocator. Another one is about negotiator. You may be needed to take part in and direct important negotiation within your team, outside the team, or department or organization. Most of the time, कोई प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है तो आप विद इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, आप ऐसे करें, आप ऐसे करें, टॉप और लोअर के साथ कम्युनिकेट करके, समटाइम मिडल मैनेजर भी होता है, आप इन चीज़ों को निगोशिएट कर लेते हैं. आप विद इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, आउटसाइड द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, कस्टमर के साथ, सप्लायर के साथ निगोशिएट करते हैं कि अच्छा ये इसकी स्पेसिफिक रिसोर्सेज हैं, कोई हम रॉ मटेरियल परचेज कर रहे हैं, उसकी प्राइस इतनी नहीं, इतनी होनी चाहिए. सो एट दैट टाइम यू आर एक्टिंग एज अ कम्युनिकेटर और निगोशिएटर. सो निगोशिएटर इज द कम्युनिकेटर who is directly or indirectly communicating with within the organization, outside the organization, within the team. So just to communicate, just to find out the issues, and just to resolve the issue, and just to convey what it is. So negotiate करना, बातचीत करना, और managers are continually negotiating. That means overall आप communicate करते हो in a better way. तो ये सारी चीजें आपकी किस में आ जाती हैं. This is all about manager with decisional category, right? So we have three categories: interpersonal, that we have studied. Another one is informational, जिसमें आप information provide करते हैं, monitor, disseminator, spokesperson, आप जो भी information है वो credible है या नहीं, disseminator जो एक्सेसिबल नहीं है वो आपके थ्रू एक्सेसिबल होती है लोगों को, स्पोक्स पर्सन जो आपके बिहाफ पे बोलता है और इंफॉर्मेशन कन्वे करता है। डिसीजनल कैटेगरी की बात करें तो आप क्रिएटिव डिसीजंस लेते हो, न्यू डिसीजंस लेते हो, न्यू आइडियाज को लेके आते हो, डिस्टर्बेंसेस को हैंडल करते हो, कोई प्रॉब्लम हो गई है, कोई डिसिप्लिन का इशू है, कोई कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रेज हो गया, कोई बहुत बड़ी फाइट लाइट व्हाट वी कैन से लड़ाई हो गई है या कुछ इश्यूज हो गए, तो उन सबको आप ऐसे डिसीजंस लेते हो ऑन द स्पॉट के वो दैट इज वेरी मच बेनिफिशियल एंड ऑन द स्पॉट यू हैव टू टेक द राइट डिसीजन, तो वो आपके डिस्टर्बेंस हैंडलर है। रिसोर्सेज को किस किस को क्या क्या कितना एलोकेट करना है, निगोशिएट कैसे करना है, कब कितने की रॉ मटेरियल आएगा, कस्टमर को कैसे प्रोवाइड करना है, मार्केटिंग कैसे करनी है, एडवर्टाइजमेंट कैसे करनी है, ये सारी चीजें आपकी डिसीजनल कैटेगरी में आती हैं। सो दिस वन इज अबाउट ओवरऑल मैनेजर रोल एंड दिस वन इज अबाउट आवर सेकंड वीक थर्ड सेशन। थैंक यू सो मच क्लास, आई होप सो आपके लिए ये काफी ज्यादा बेनिफिशियल होगा। थैंक यू, अल्लाह हाफिज क्लास फॉर दिस वीक।